Thank you for tuning in to our podcast. This is part 1 of our 2-part series on the world of the empath. We recommend watching this part first. You'll find a link from the second part in the description when it's live. Thank you for watching and consider subscribing to our channel.
Hi friends, we're back. As we promised last week, we are going to give you a podcast all about the world of the empath, and we will do a part 1 and a part 2 for this podcast so that we avoid being too intense. Clementine, you want to start?
I will. Everybody, every human being can be empathic. Even very nasty people have empathic capabilities, but they don't use it that much. But there are people who are more empathic, and you have people are a little bit, you have people who are more, and you have, of course, people who have built their whole life around being empathic, being a super empath. But what most people don't know is that being empathic is most of the time trauma-based.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels very strange because it is such a big gift. Or many people feel that when they live with empaths, that they are so kind and so gentle and so safe and so sweet. And how can this be trauma-based? You have to go back to the very beginning of when you are born. And the trauma lays in that you are born in a family or in a place where on an emotional level, it is not safe for you. And so the people where you are born with cannot come to your level. And I don't mean high or low. I mean that where you are living, what for you is normal on an emotional level is not for them. So what you are doing as an empath, to feel safe for yourself, you pull yourself back and you are becoming an observer from everything and everybody around you. And because you're doing this from such a young age, you become very good. You are from day one, you are a kind of a sponge. And you everything in your surroundings, so not only the people, but it can be even the area where you live, all that energy, it comes inside of you. And so you pull it inward. And you learn this at such a young age that when you are becoming older, it's very easy for you to see where the other is, see where the needs of the others are. Last time we talked about being a people pleaser. And so there are many empaths who become also people pleasers because they know exactly where the others are, and also everybody wants to hear something that you are good or something like that. So therefore, many people pleasers are empath, but it doesn't need to be. So you can be an empath without being a people pleaser, and you can be a people pleaser without being an empath. It feels like the more and more you are in this world as an empath, the more you become it, the better you become it, and the more this world feels not right for you. It feels a strange world for you because it's also becoming more difficult to live a normal life in this world because you are so sensitive. And now the word sensitive is coming. So many empaths are also hypersensitive. And so they are very sensitive for the surroundings. Sensitivity can go in every direction. Um, Robin, do you want to add something or?
I do. I would like to add like a little bit of another layer to that, or an additional layer. I believe empathy is a human trait. I believe we all have a natural empathy, and I think that the difference between that natural empathy, so I call the authentic empath, is in there, probably tucked in the shadow with your wounded inner child, because as we are saying, I would tend to say most people who consider themselves empaths is groomed through trauma, like you're describing. And so that means that the true empath, who you are, is buried in the shadows and it's been the empath that you think you are is a wounded empath who's been groomed through trauma and a certain hypervigilance to survive your surroundings has been a good thing. It allowed you to survive your childhood traumas, yet that in and of itself is not your true empath, because your true empath will put as much importance on your own feelings and needs as you do on others. But as the empath in the family, you have learned to, first of all, you guess, you know ahead of time, you can predict others' emotions and reactions and needs and provide it before there's a crisis, before you feel attacked, or before, and typically it is at the expense of your own considerations, that you are not taking care of your own emotions. You're pushing them aside because somebody else's emotions matter more. And so when on social media you're hearing all these descriptions of empaths are those people who just soak up everything around them, just indiscriminately soak up other people's emotions, other people's feelings, other people's fears and anxieties, that, if that's what's happening, is an indication that is an unconscious empath. Conscious empath, you have inner boundaries where you do not absorb other people's feelings, perspectives as your own. Like, you don't go into it and take it on. You still recognize it. You're still compassionate and see their perspective, but you don't wear their emotions for them, and you don't feel like you have to fix it or provide a solution for them. You simply observe them, maybe validate for them, if that's what they need, and that's fine. But then you don't take it on and you don't try to solve it or fix it or heal them, right? The healing part will happen when we stop as empaths taking away the other person's journey. It is their journey. It is their responsibility to walk that path and to figure out their own inner workings. It's also other people's journey to be accountable for their choices. So when we are functioning as the unconscious empath, we're making all kinds of excuses because I understand the trauma that caused the behavior. Okay, but you are still responsible for your choices and your behavior that is repeatedly causing me hurt. So for me to continue there and make those excuses because I understand your trauma, well, then I'm betraying myself. And that is not the true empath of who I am. That is the unconscious empath who doesn't understand that I do not have to absorb your discomforts, pains, in order to empathize and understand and be compassionate, and that I'm actually serving you better by not taking it on and doing it for you. Because how is you, as in the other person, not you, Clementine, I'm sorry, but how is the other person going to find their own inner strength if the empath is constantly doing the hard part for them? If the empath is constantly managing the other person's emotional meltdowns, well, then the other person never actually learns how to manage it themselves. And so that's, then you're in the area of codependency and enabling at that point, and you're really trading yourself in.
I think that not all empaths will see themselves in the way you described it. There are a boatload of empaths who are, let's call, I'm call them super empaths. um, um, they have to put themselves so far away, and it happens indeed unconsciously, that they even don't know where they end and where the other starts, and their whole life is about the other, is pushing themselves away, but they are not pushing themselves away consciously. It happens all unconsciously, and it feels even that it is their job. That's why they are here. It's their sole contract. Why they are here is taking care of others. And as we said before, because you start with it at such a young age and you are doing nothing else than being a sponge, and you're looking around and knowing from everybody exactly where they are and what they need, and you are very, very good in it. And but still it feels a strange world. Still it feels you're doing something very good, and you are very good, but you're still missing something. And it's very difficult for those people to say what they are missing. But they also living in a world that is strange to them, because they don't feel at home in that world, because everything costs such a lot of energy. Uh, Most of those empaths are always tired. They stand up in the morning tired. Sleep doesn't make them less tired. They are always tired because they give so much. But what Robin was talking about, because of the you doesn't get fed. The you is gone, and it's going even this far that your soul has to leave your body because it's not safe anymore for the soul. And that can be the soul as a whole, or the soul gets in fragments away. And the soul goes to a place where it feels safe. So you don't need to be scared for your soul. But because you are not fed in any way right, you feel so tired always. It's also a lonely place. It's a place where nobody understands you. You understand everybody, but nobody understands you. So it's also very lonely. You carry a ginormous big gift, but that gift gives you nothing. In many families, you are the one that keeps that family together. You give a lot, but you still get nothing back. And so it feels as a gift and a curse at the same time. And because of so many people don't understand it and never heard it, that it comes from a trauma beginnings. You don't understand it curse. You don't understand life. You don't. Why do I have to live like this? You. Yeah, it doesn't feel right. But doing the right thing for the other feels exactly right. So, what am I not doing right? Do I have to work harder? So all those questions coming in your head. Am I not doing it good enough? Do I have to do more? Is it not good enough? Is it not enough? So, and you try harder and harder and harder, and you feed the other more, and you get nothing in return. And because you not getting fed is, first of all, you are tired, but second of all, many of empaths have also many problems, physical problems. I'm trying to express now. For instance, what I said now a few times, you are not fed on an energetical level. That also means that your digestive system works differently because it's not fed. The energy is not there. Your nervous system starts to work differently because your nervous system is fed with this energy, with the you, with the soul, with everything. So many empaths have digestive system problems. And as I said, are also hypersensitive. So become very hypersensitive, for instance, of food, have allergies, have all kinds of things that are all coming because you don't take care of yourself, but you are not aware of not doing it. And that's what was Robin talking about, being conscious and being unconscious. And being unconscious osteopath, being conscious empath. Oh God. Where came that word from? The conscious empath where Robin was talking about is the healed one. But what we are doing right now is making the unconscious empath more conscious of where they come from. And so where you are now, unconscious, and because of this podcast, you become more conscious of it. And the conscious one where Robin is talking about, they have already had a healing process. And so that, I want to make a difference with that also, because becoming conscious of the trauma, becoming conscious that you didn't take care of yourself for many decades, in my case, many decades, perhaps is the listener a little bit younger and a little bit less decades, but becoming conscious now is not the conscious empath where Robin was talking about.
Can I
It
pop in
it
and
yeah.
elaborate? Yeah, I want to
Yes, yes.
elaborate a little bit on that hypervigilance part of it. I just want to add a bit more of maybe examples where when we are trauma born, empathic, we we are hyper vigilant. We to every social interaction we bring a hyper vigilance. We are through the entire interaction. We are gauging the emotions of the other person. We're feeling everything around us, and we are constantly adjusting our inner world to not cause waves. And we anticipate the other person's needs or wants before they express them so that we avoid the discomfort. We don't want to have them feel disappointed. We don't want them to feel like we don't understand them. Um, we're more concerned with their comfort than our own. And this is where we need to start trying to learn inner boundaries, where we need to pause in these situations and ask ourselves, whose feelings am I babysitting? Because it's not my job to babysit somebody else's feelings. I should be taking care of my own. And yet, as you say, we've pushed ourselves back so much. Sometimes we don't really know what our own feelings are. If we're actually having a feeling, we don't know how to identify our own feelings or identity, if you will, because we have, since early childhood, defined ourselves through the lens of the people around us. And so that isn't really who we are. And you start getting to where you're on this emotional burnout, because if you're hyper vigilant to every situation, you bring this hyper vigilance, you exhaust yourself. You just, emotional exhaustion leads to physical symptoms, physical exhaustion. And when we are not feeding our own vitality, it takes us down. And then here we begin to, it becomes almost like an inner crisis of unconscious empath to conscious empath. You begin to, you, you remove yourself from the survival mode, functioning in survival mode. And you realize that as an adult, I put all of these ways of interacting in this hypervigilance and this empathic approach to life that's groomed through my trauma in place as a child, because that's what worked as a child, and that was what it was available to me as a child to survive. But as an adult, I have so many more resources that I'm unaware of because I'm still operating from the unconscious base of what I put in place as in my childhood as a survival tool. But now I have a right to say no. I have a right to pause. I can, as an adult, you have so many more choices that I think you're not aware of. And when you start to realize that, this identity as the kind and sensitive empath who is so compassionate towards other people's needs, and you realize that that's not my identity, it's not my core, it's not my essence, it's a function of my psyche. It's a tool. It is a tool that I need to dig deep in my authentic self in order to use that tool effectively and not have the tool be using me. And when we move ourselves out of that survival pattern of the hypervigilant approach to our interactions, and we can move over into observing. Do I really want to do this? Is this person's unhappiness something I am responsible for? That answer is always no. You're never responsible for anybody else's emotions. You might have been their trigger, but you're not responsible for that. They are. And even if you are the trigger for an uncomfortable feeling for that other person, still isn't up to you to fix it. That was, you're their mirror. That's all. Like, the mirror's not responsible for my hair looking good or not looking good. I am. The mirror is the tool that I can see if it looks good, right? So you are not responsible for fixing it because you were their trigger. You know, that was their gift, and they brought that into their life so that it would show to them, and now that is up to them to make the choice.
I am going back again to the super empath, because a part of the super empath will again not completely see themselves in the way Robin explains it. Because you don't see that you do something wrong. Your you is so far away, is so that you even don't realize that you are not there. That doesn't mean that you don't feel. And that when you still can feel love, you still can feel mad, you can have every emotion there is, but everything, every cell in your system is pointed towards the other. And that feels your normal. That feels as that is what you have to do. In the way Robin says, ask yourself if that's the right thing to do. When you are not conscious and have not looked already inside, then you say, yes, it's completely the right thing to do, to give all what you have to the other. There are even empaths who would even give their lives when somebody else, when you can save somebody else with that. So many empaths say, give me your sickness or give me whatever, I will take care of it so you don't have to do it. And that everything feels the right thing to do, and there's nothing wrong about. I'm going a little step further by saying that is exactly right when you look from with your glasses, with your trauma. It is even very good that you did it to you, because otherwise you wouldn't survive your family, your on emotional level. So that you did it and that you went very far in it and went very good in it, it has been a very good thing. But are you this far that you have problems physically? Are you worn out, as Robin says, emotionally, mentally, burned out perhaps even? Then it is already, the time has already passed that you have to change that. And then you have to become aware of that it is trauma based and that this is not your true potential, although it feels like it. And asking yourself, is this the right thing to do? Is you cannot say no in the beginning. In the beginning, well, every cell is pointed to give the other. So every cell is, yeah, of course it's the right thing to do. Um, um, me? Uh, the question, who are you? The most people will give the name. No, that's not who you are. That's your name. Who are empaths cannot give answer. They don't know who they are. And so is it the right thing to do? Yes. But it isn't. What Robin said, I don't know if you said the exact same words, but you're giving yourself away. You're giving so much of yourself, and you are lacking so much that you even become sick of it. Perhaps also figuratively, but literally your body gets sick of it. And